Hi, everybody. Welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. I got a message from two of my subscribers. One was Amy S. and the other one was Justin Fennis. And they pointed me to this church news article called Come Follow Me, President Nelson's 7 Principles of Unity from 4th Nephi. And this article is about President Nelson's October 2024 Liahona article called A Pattern for Unity in Jesus Christ. So this is something that I missed when I made a video about this article. So before General Conference, I made this video, Big Warnings in President Nelson's Liahona article ahead of General Conference. And to my surprise, it became my top performing video of all time since I started this channel 3 years ago. It's currently at 201,000 views. And I don't think that that's an accident. I think the Lord had a hand in that. I don't think it's because I made like an amazing video or had an incredible thumbnail. This was an anomaly. And I don't think it's a mistake or an accident that this one, the one in the number 3 spot, that has to do with wearing the temple garment, got to this point. It's almost at 100,000. I don't know if it'll hit 100,000, but it's currently at almost 93,000. So that made me kind of like take a step back and think even more about this article, because look how he starts it. Okay. Let me just point this out. I'm not going to make all the same points that I made in this video, but I'll put a link for this video in the description box below. But look what he said at the very beginning. Think about the elections that are coming up. I think that's why he put out this article. We live in an age when a surging tide of discord and disputation is spreading across the globe. Aided by technology and abetted by people whose hearts have waxed cold, these divisive forces threaten to fill our hearts with contempt and corrupt our communication with contention. Communal ties are breaking, wars are raging. So this is a warning from the prophet that we should not take part in this, especially with these elections that are coming up. He doesn't mention the elections, but we all know from past experience that whenever in the United States we have presidential elections, it's a time of divisiveness and discord and contempt and contention and all that stuff. We don't know what the aftermath is going to be, but whoever wins, it's probably not going to be good either way when it comes to contention. And now, looking back on this talk, after hearing his this article, after hearing his most recent talk in this General Conference, that was all about the Second Coming, I'm really looking at it through a new lens, because President Nelson's talk was about the Second Coming. Okay. And 4th Nephi, so the Book of Mormon is for us in our day, and 3rd Nephi and 4th Nephi specifically are like a foreshadowing of the Second Coming and the millennium. 4th Nephi in particular would correspond to the millennium and what millennial life would be like. And so that's what caught my attention about his article. Is it's like he's preparing us for the millennium. He's like, hey, if you want to move on into the millennium and that's where you want to be, then let's remember what's required, or what a millennial people look like. A Zion people, right? And so in his talk, there was another thing that stuck out at the very beginning as well. He says, in this conference, the Lord has spoken to us through his servants. I urge you to study their messages. Use them as a litmus test of what is true and what is not during the next 6 months, which, by the way, are probably going to be pretty rocky. And there's going to be this fight for power and all sorts of messages going out, both from the candidates themselves as well as other actors, all the way down to the personal level, as people try and sway other people's opinions. So there's probably going to be a lot of deception and skewing facts and all that type of stuff. So I really think that he has elections on the mind. Maybe he's been shown something about how things are going to play out, and he's trying to warn us to not participate with the way that the world does things. Okay. So anyway, let's go back to this. So this Church News article, this was written by Sydney Walker. Okay, here she is right here. Sydney Jorgensen Walker is a reporter for the Church News. She graduated from the BYU journalism program in 2017. She previously wrote for the Faith section in the Deseret News and worked as an assistant in the Priesthood and Family Department of Church Headquarters. And I'm going to give her credit along with Amy and Justin for this. So I have this spreadsheet. Let's kind of shift focus to President Nelson's sevens. If you're new to the channel, I'll explain what that means. Okay, so this is my newest example of President Nelson employing the number 7. The most recent example is from his recent General Conference talk where he repeated second coming or the Lord's return 7 times. He referred to the second coming 7 times in his General Conference talk. But this is not new. This General Conference talk is actually the 21st example that I have of him using 7s. Let me just give you some of the highlights. So I have column B, I have it highlighted for ones I want to show. So when President Nelson became president of the church, he went on a global ministry tour, and guess how many countries he went to? He went to 7, including Israel. All right, later on. Okay, sorry, I had to fix something. Starting with the October 2018 General Conference, for each conference afterwards, for 7 general conferences, he would give one talk where he would include the Salt Lake Temple as an object lesson. Okay, and here's the names of all the talks right here. It goes from October 2018 until October 2021, and then it stopped. So 7 general conferences in a row, he did that. Here's another one. On July 7th, or 7/7 of 2023, he did a post about forgiving 70 times 7 from Matthew chapter 18, verse 22. And then his next post after that was on August 1st, where he gives 6 ways to disagree. And 6 is... So 7, let's take a look at this really quick. 7 is the number of perfection, completion. I have this spreadsheet called Quotes, Numbers. You can access my spreadsheets anytime. The link is in the description box of each video. But going to the church manuals, you have this one, Scripture Study, The Power of the Word, Teacher Manual. And for 7, it says it symbolizes whole or complete or fullness. And then in the Old Testament Student Manual, Genesis through 2 Samuel, it talks about it being a number of completion, fulfillment, and perfection. Okay, so that's like the heavenly number. That's the number of perfection. So you can see how 6 and disagreement would go together. Okay, after that, on September 21st, the 200-year anniversary of when the angel Moroni came to Joseph Smith. And again, 21 is 3 7s. So on the 21st, oh, and by the way, September used to be the 7th month on the Roman 10-month calendar. So in another sense, this is, you have 21 with 3 7s, and then you have the 7th month of the old calendar. But on that day, the 200th anniversary of Angel Moroni coming to Joseph Smith, President Nelson did a post about that, and he repeated Book of Mormon 7 times. 7 days later, on September 28th, he did the same thing where he repeated a word or a phrase 7 times. In this case, it was the word conference. Okay. And then for each month after that, he would do one post where he would repeat a word or a phrase 7 times. And he did that for 7 months. The last month that he did it was March of 2024. And right here, the word or the words were women identifiers. And that's the month that the Kirtland Temple came back into the church. And then it stopped in April. He didn't do it again. And then he resumed for 2 more months in May and June. But we haven't seen any more from him. There have been other examples, like in the First Presidency, messages. This one was for Easter. They also did it for the Christmas message. Okay, so you get the idea. And so he's still doing it. And this is the most recent example on my spreadsheet. So Sydney Walker, she points out that you have these different sections of his talk. Let's go over here. You see how it's broken up into sections: conversion, covenants, and there's 7 of those. So conversion, covenants, fairness, equality, and helping the poor, obedience, meeting together, love, and divine identity. And I really think that this is something that we should pay attention to. I'm not going to go over these again. I'll refer you to this video that I already did where I went through it and I go through all the highlights that you see here on the screen. But think about this, you guys. If the second coming is soon and there's going to be a separating of those that are capable and willing of living a millennial lifestyle, separating them from those who are not, then these upcoming elections and everything else going on in the world might be a test. And President Nelson might be trying to call our attention to that fact and helping us pass the test so that we do move on into the millennium and we're not counted among the wicked. Because the wicked are all about contention. They're about pride, contention, competition, putting others down, and all the things that we know are evil. So let's give special attention to this. Let's be careful how we talk to others, how we treat others. Live the teachings of Christ on the Sermon on the Mount that he taught to his followers, as well as keep the other commandments like taking the sacrament, going to the temple, paying tithing. We have to do it all. We have to do the inner work and we have to do the outer work and be the real thing all the way around. And if we are, then we'll move on into the millennium, and it's going to be a paradisiacal world, and it's going to be essentially a utopian society for 1,000 years. But you can't participate in that if you're not Zion yourself. So, all right, well, that's going to be it for this one. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also, make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.